Hey, what's going on? This is a video to answer all of my friends and family's questions regarding my new tattoo. So here's my new tattoo from Christian Nova. Uh, and boy, oh boy, and this is actually my second tattoo. So I also have this tattoo, which is veins. We got kind of the veins and the circuitry thing going on here. And I've seen other people do videos on tattoos, but they're always like, here's my new tattoo. And it's like the size of their nipple or something. So this is what it was like to get a crazy, huge ass tattoo like this. We're going to talk about the whole process from start to finish. So let's jump into it. So it all started with Google Drive, and I basically just started collecting here and on my digital diary a whole bunch of tattoos I liked. So I was pretty. Ooh. So here's the first one where we've got sort of like a line, and then I was pretty interested in this kind of band tattoo, like the idea of an armband. I liked how this circuitry wrapped into the armband. I knew I wanted circuits somehow, but I knew I didn't want anything that looked like this. I really hated this one, this design. I like this one a little bit more. I was interested in the idea of having like a memory patch, and I love the blackout design. So this guy's arm, I was really attracted to the blackout, and I love this one too. I thought this one was really cool, the way it has the circuitry in the blackout. So here is my arm, a blank canvas, and here I just started drawing on my arm. I just started drawing some ideas of what the circuitry could look like, and this was my final picture. So this is kind of the tattoo design I drew, and then I...
Hello, MTV, and welcome to my crib.
Visit to my friend. So I went to Six, and Six is a talented artist.
Okay. The sun is out, our shirts are clean.
So Six was basically able to design this. So they took my shitty design and turned it into something really beautiful. Just kind of getting the idea of what it would look like. We worked on this together for a few hours, just converting the veins into something larger, and then this was the Facebook comment response. People were pretty negative. Melissa says, not a fan. That's my sister. But they gave me some ideas and, like, you know, how I wanted to maybe break it up a little bit. That was kind of the main idea, and eventually we did, right? So then I started looking for artists. I was in LA at the time, so I looked at LA artists, I looked at Form 8 artists, and eventually I found Christian Nova. So this is what his office looks like. Here's some other shots. So Christian Nova, basically, so he focuses on a design called Heavy Black, which is different from the black and gray design, which I have on my left arm. And this guy's got a lot of tattoos. He's got a snake and a fish tank, saltwater. And so, basically this is the office. I'm getting you acquainted with the space because I'm going to be spending the next, like, week of my, maybe like 40 hours of my life in here. I love his design. He has a whole bunch of tattoos on him, which I think is always good, right? You want your tattoo artist to have a lot of tattoos on them. And this is the design he came up with, working on it based on what Six had. And basically we took this big sticker, plopped it on my arm to get the ink there. And then the next thing we did is he had to go around and outline it. And that's the most painful process, but at the end of the outlining process, it looks something like this. The reason why it's the most painful is because you can't use this kind of gel. Otherwise, it would wipe off the sticker. So that gel does help a lot. So now you can see what he's doing is actually filling in those outlines they made. And I will actually just let you listen to this video so you can get a sense of it. The wiping part is the most painful. I'm sure you've heard that. But basically, when he wipes the ink away, that is the killer there. And what people also don't talk about is tattoos really smell. The smell of the ink just gets everywhere, and you're kind of just like incapacitated by like just the smell and the pain. It's a very out of body experience. Sometimes if you use that gel, this is like this crazy gel. He can't even buy it in the US. He has to like import it from another country. But so I would squeeze my hand like this, and then I would switch to squeezing my hand like this so that I didn't lose all my circulation on my thumb. But man, it was just brutal. But here's the finished result. It looks absolutely gorgeous. I was really happy with it. And there's the original design he printed. and then you wrap it up, and they send you home. So let's see what else we got. Oh yeah, so this is the gross picture of what it looks like when it's slowly getting out your body. It looks a lot like it always reminds me of this Spider-Man scene with all this like weird ink just kind of dripping out of you. It's absolutely disgusting, frankly, and also just kind of like disturbing to see this like ink slowly just like seep out of you. Yeah, it's pretty fucked up. So then you gotta get home, and you unbandage the whole thing. You wash it, you air dry it, and then you put some cream on it. That's the whole process in a nutshell. But they really wrap you up tight like a little mummy, so it's hard to get out sometimes. So there's that video. Yeah, wow, it's just incredibly painful. There was some days where I actually just sank to the floor. I couldn't even stand. It was so painful. That was one day in particular. It was just really bad. So now heading back to the office again. And what I found really interesting was that I actually had to avoid the sun. I felt kind of like a vampire, but I made the stupid decision of not wearing sleeves, and the sun, every time I would walk in it, I could feel it, like it was just singeing my flesh, because essentially the tattoo is just like a raw blood cut. And here's the skylight of this escalator, and man, that was a painful skylight. I just want to take a picture of that, because it's interesting how you just perceive the world differently when you have this tattoo, and you have to kind of like avoid the sunlight, like a day-walking vampire. I don't know, I just thought that very interesting. Yeah, so basically we're back at it again. What he actually did was, when we were designing it, how it was going to work, the upper section, we did it in Sharpie. So he just Sharpied all over my arm to kind of get an idea for where the black was going to interact with the skin color. And then he just was able to go right over the Sharpie. So that was kind of cool, because you can't just apply a sticker like or a stencil is what they call them, like you could for the bottom part, because it's very sort of like fitting of the nature of the body. And here's a progress shot of this was a sticker that they were able to plop on the upper arm here. Incredibly painful. One of the most painful experiences I think I've ever been through, physically. Literally, I could not stand. It was horrible. And I'm terrible with pain tolerance. And that's something I really appreciate about Christian. He was just so patient with me. And he didn't bill me for the time that I wasn't under the tattoo machine. So I really appreciated that, because man, it was just brutal. But he was very kind and patient, and I really appreciated that. Because my past tattoo artist was kind of like, you know. And here's the goo. It's disgusting. And then here's actually it's starting to chafe and fall off. So it's very important that you use this cream. So I actually used lotions and butter. I highly recommend this Hustle Butter. It's pretty expensive. It's like the deluxe product, but it's really good and much better than another kind. Here's a recommendation to hit it with some really hot water, because those white spots, it's easier to identify where you need to put special attention with your lotion. And whereas when you put the oil on, it's hard to tell. Those are some final shots. And then this is actually the post he made on his Insta. Matthew is part of a team for video games like Gears of War. I think he was talking about God of War. Same shit, I guess. So yeah, we were talking about video games, and I actually bought him God of War because I thought that'd be nice, because I didn't give him any tips. Which you should do. You're supposed to give your artist like $100 tip. I'm pretty sure is kind of that's what I read online is kind of the expectation. But when you're paying $1,500 a day, I think it made more sense for me to think about a sentimental gift to get him. And so he was raising a son, and I thought, oh, okay, let me buy him this God of War game. And I said, I sent it to your mailbox. And he's like, mailbox? I don't check the mail. And I was like, well, okay. Basically, I hope he played it. I hope he played the game. Yeah, so all in all, it came out to about 4 or 5 days. Each of those from 1,000 to 1,500, and I think in total the tattoo came out to about 5,500. This is a tattoo I've been thinking about for about 2 years, and I'm really happy to finally have it on my body. We have touch-ups scheduled. No, we don't have touch-ups scheduled. I have to schedule touch-ups for sometime later this year. But I have credit towards that, so I don't have to pay anything else. I'm excited about. Oh, and we missed one panel, so this panel just never got done, just because I was having a hard time. So basically, that's gonna get filled in. Yeah, if you're thinking about getting a tattoo, you should do it. You should 100% do it. If you want to save up the money like I did, so that you could get exactly what you want, then I think that makes sense as well. I think if you're thinking about going in with a design, I would go in with something that's flexible, and more like an idea. I think it makes sense to go into a tattoo artist with an idea and have them come up with the design. I think it's very rare that, well, basically Christian explained to me, like, people will come to him with designs, but they're always pretty bad. So you should expect that your design's pretty bad. Mine, I don't think it was pretty bad, but I think it needed work to really fit the contours of the body. And I think the people who responded to me on Facebook did a good mention of that, right? The idea of like breaking it up a little bit so it's not just these like two solid lines. And I think what he implemented here with these kind of like crosses really achieved that. So I'm really happy with it. I hope that if you're thinking about your tattoo, let me know how it goes. Let me know if your experience was different than this in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, if you're watching it now, you stayed all the way to the end, please give me a like. I'd appreciate that. All right, I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks.